The new parts have arrived from the factory without issue. They'll be fitted to the car in time for the next session.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for the Russian Grand Prix, and after a very interesting Singapore Grand Prix, we arrive here with a new upgrade on the car on the aerodynamic side of things. Speaking of which, Singapore, if you guys do want to check that episode out, click the card in the top right hand corner of your screen to go check out that episode, which was a crazy race and a bit of a shocking result, to be fair. Actually, no, a very shocking result, to be fair, at the end of the Grand Prix. But arriving at this weekend, there is a big change, and it is Renault who are really starting to gather some serious momentum in this championship in the development race, and they are now the fourth best team by a mile. They've absolutely leapfrogged Mercedes going into this race, and they are now catching up to Ferrari, and Renault really coming on strong in the second half of the season, and they're really piling on the upgrades, and they're really becoming a threat. And speaking of which, we move into Friday practice here at Sochi, a very wet FP1 session, which, to be fair, did not go according to plan. We had a bit of a dodgy session because I went out and I did the track acclimatization test, and the car felt fine, but I just got on a curb, made a mistake, and you'll see exactly what happens now. Going through the left here, we just go on the exit curb, get the power down, and lose the back end, and it was the end of our session.
You had a mishap in practice. Will this affect qualifying or race day? Were those faults a bad omen for qualifying and the race? Well, thanks anyway.
I was actually getting bombarded by pretty dodgy questions, and to be fair, in hindsight, I wish I didn't comment on the first one because Claire was coming after me, man. She was not holding back on the questions, and we had to move into FP2, and this time a dry session is what we got. However, we was limited on tyres and also running time, so I basically did ERS management to get a feel for the track. ERS management was going to be my new track acclimatization, so to speak, and then also we did the race strategy and the qualifying performance test, and all in all, not too bad, and I was generally quite happy with the car. Again, another race where after Singapore, tyre temperatures are probably going to be a concern again. Realistically, it shouldn't be that bad around here because Sochi is a pretty low temperature track and it's generally quite cool in the area, but you never know, and we're going to see what happens. But all in all, we now move into Saturday qualifying here at the Sochi Autodrom, and to be fair, I felt confident. I thought to myself, you know what, if I can hook it up, I think I can do a lap that's a pretty good lap, and it's a threat, and we can get ourselves into the mix. However, the problem here was the weather was not going to make it easy for none of us. Rain was not expected in this session, which was kind of a surprise. However, it did start to just come down a little bit. And in Q1, we went out really early on because rain started to drop. There was a couple of droplets on my screen. And I was like, oh, wow, the rain's coming out of nowhere. So I went out just in case, and I went out with 5 minutes to go towards the end of the session. Eventually, as I went onto my lap, the droplets went away, and I was like, okay, maybe the worst of it has gone by. But then again, towards the end of the lap, the rain came back. Luckily, we got a lap in for P14 just in time, and we just get through in 14th place there on the hypersoft tyres, only 9/10 off the pace, so a very close field. But ultimately, the rain costing me time. And in Q2, we went out again on the hypers, and this one was a bit of a write-off for me because in this kind of condition, the AI are very powerful. Now, what I mean by that is they will do a lap time which is physically impossible, because whenever you return to garage or go to track via flying lap and there's a bit of a skip in time for about a minute and a half, in that time period the AI are glitched and they do a fully dry lap time. You can see there I go with P3, but then literally later on I went back to the garage, went back out on track again, and in that time we dropped all the way down to P14, and people had set dry lap times of a 1:27, yet the conditions had not changed throughout the entire session. So in my head I was like, well, I'm absolutely screwed because there is no way I'm matching those laps. And as you can see, through turns 1 and 2, we got a track extend basically, and the track was two-way. It was getting worse, no one else was going on the track, everyone came to the pit lane, and ultimately that was the end of my session. P14, not much we could have done, and the shock elimination there was actually Sebastian Vettel along with Daniel Ricciardo, my teammate, who both also got caught out by the conditions. But you can see the Perez lap time absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know how he's done that, where that's come from. But all in all, a disappointing qualifying, and we're knocked out for the second successive race in Q2. But that does give us 3 shots of tyre for the race tomorrow, so hopefully we can turn it around on Sunday. So without further ado, let's jump into the race for the Russian Grand Prix.
Good afternoon from Sochi as we prepare to get underway for the Russian Grand Prix. The championship battle has some time to go yet, but still expect no quarter to be given here on this circuit that made its debut in 2014 and has already seen some classic racing. Situated just 3 miles from the Georgian border, the 3.6 mile Sochi Autodrom has 2 notable overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and then turn 13. 18 corners in total here, 12 to the right and 6 to the left, and it's an average lap speed of around 130 miles per hour. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about Ferrari. They've had 1 retirement in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
I think they can be fairly pleased with that record so far. The first thing any good car needs is a solid, reliable base with which to build on, and they seem to have that this season.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Raikkonen, who'll start P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hülkenberg, Sainz, Sergio Perez and Ocon, Gasly, Alonso, Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo, Vettel, Sirotkin, Martinez and Stroll, Grosjean, Bottas, Marcus Ericsson and Kevin Magnussen. Hartley and Stoffel van Dorn completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
It's time for the Russian Grand Prix here at Sochi, and it is race time on Sunday. Now, I'm looking forward to this race because I think we do have some better pace than what we showed in qualifying. I think the conditions kind of basically made it very, very good for the AI. You know, the AI are very good in the mixed conditions, and I still believe that there's kind of a glitch there from F1 2017, where when you return to garage by skipping that part or go to track, the AI finds some magical pace, and they can really make something happen. So I'm not too worried about that, and I think we can do a lot of stuff here in the race here today and do a lot of good work. Now, we're starting from P13. We've gained a place after qualifying, and we've got Sebastian Vettel in front of us, quite interestingly, in the Ferrari, which is my championship rival. So this is looking very, very good for us so far. Vettel taking a penalty and also getting caught out, it seems, by maybe some possible weather in Q3. But in terms of the race strategy here today, as you can see, we have the Ultras, which we're going to start on, and transition over to the Hypers. Now, this is a testament to the improved, tyre wear on the car, because normally I was expecting maybe a hyper soft onto a soft compound tyre, but we are avoiding the yellow wall softs in this race, which is very, very good for us, and hopefully we can have a good race. Now, fuel-wise, we are only half a lap over. I'm going to increase that to 1 lap. I don't want to be too heavy because we are still running the Ultras. So it's going to be an interesting race. I think the longer we go on the Ultras and the better we keep them without overheating them, that's going to suit us a lot more, and it's going to work for us a lot better in the long run, this race. But all in all, I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be a very, very exciting race. And without further ado, let's just jump into it here for the Russian Grand Prix and see how things pan out. I'm looking forward to it. It's race time. Right, here we go. Let's get ready for the 5 red lights. Getting the revs up. Lights out, and away we go at the Sochi Autodrom. We're going to cover off the inside, but unfortunately we can't do much about it. Stroll just edges in front of me. We're going to cover the inside though, racing down to turn 2 here, making sure we have that inside line. We're going to carry the late brake into the second corner up the inside of Sebastian Vettel here. Yellow flag behind. We're going to just try and edge out in front of Vettel, and we do just get our nose in front. That is critical for us in terms of the championship. Again, up into 12th place. Now we've got Daniel Ricciardo here in front of us. My teammate side by side with Lance Stroll, and I actually have to get on the brakes mid-corner to avoid hitting the back. Oh, sorry, Sergei Sorokin, actually, the home hero. This is all kicking off here. Stroll trying to go on my outside. We just hold on. The Williams cars, we know, are fast on the straights. But Sergei Sorokin, great start for him in the Williams. I think he also actually qualified pretty well as well. And he's on the Hypersoft, so he's got a bit of an edge when it comes to the tyres off of the line and first lap grip. But I think we should be fast enough to get past this Williams. Here we go. Onto the back straight for the first time this race. Overtake ERS and Rich Mix engaged, but we don't have enough on the straight actually to really compete with that Williams. So we're going to have to just be patient and go for the move maybe some other time. Alonso and Ricciardo meanwhile going side by side here, and Ricciardo gets the job done on Fernando Alonso. We're going to go up the inside of Sorokin up the inside of Alonso. A 2-for-1 overtake maybe around the outside of both of them, and there we go. Nice little double overtake there. I had to force my way through a little bit of contact with Sorokin on the inside, but it was an aggressive move. I already committed to going for the inside line, and we pulled it off, and we are up into the points already after one lap. So great start here at Sochi, and we're into the top 10 on the Ultra Softs. Ricciardo and my teammate also on the Ultras. Meanwhile, here comes Sorokin here. He's got a lot of momentum in that Williams car. We're going to have to cover the inside. Down to turn 2, we go very deep on the brakes, and we stay in front of Sergei Sorokin for now, but I need to try and break the slipstream and try and pull away from that Williams if possible. Right, onto lap 3, DRS enabled. A purple final sector, and we've got just enough of a gap to actually pull away from Sorokin, and we also have DRS on Ricciardo, which is pretty interesting. We did our flag into turn 1 though, and a Renault is going to first place. I keep saying turn 1 when it's turn 2, but still, you know what I mean. But there's a Renault in first place, which is incredible. They've really brought the upgrades in the last couple of races, and they've really picked up the pace, and they're looking an absolute unit going into next season. Obviously, we're not really sure what the regulation change will do for them in terms of what their car performance is like, but they're definitely making improvements here. Meanwhile, a very good first sector from us there, and we're closing up the gap now to this train of cars in front of us. Looks like Kimi Raikkonen is the man causing this. He's going very, very slow in the Ferrari, and everybody's getting held up here. I'm trying to save a little bit of ERS and fuel while we've got the chance, and you can see how much I drop back on the straight, but Raikkonen in the Ferrari definitely having trouble here, and it's causing a massive pile up, so we might have a chance to make some overtakes. Ricciardo all over the back of Charles Leclerc here. I'm going to try and size up a move on my teammate, and he's also on the same tyre as me, so if we can get past him, that'd be great. Into the last couple of corners here, that Force India's got past him and released itself into second place. Into the final corner now. This is going to be a massive slipstream fest on this entire straight, and it's all going to be about straight line speed here and DRS. Let's just watch this for a moment, because there's going to be lots of, I think, overtakes into the first couple of corners here. We are going to hold on in front of Sorokin for now. And actually, no side-by-side moments, but we are extremely close to Danny Rick. And I think I'm going to try and go for the move this lap. Oh, VSC deployed. And I think it's because of Brendan Hartley, who's in front of us here in the Toro Rosso. And there he is on the right-hand side. You can see him going slow. I think that's triggered the VSC. So there we go, not too bad. It's going to give the Hypersoft runners a chance to pit, a free pit stop basically. Will they take it? I guess we'll find out very soon, but myself and Ricciardo on the Ultras are looking very good here at the moment, and it's going to really help us out. Let's wait and see to see if anybody does actually come into the pit lane or not this lap. I'll be curious to know, because there's a good chance for those on the Hypers to get off the tyre, and it looks like no one's coming in as the VSC does end, so we're going to get back under racing speed here, back underway, and there we go, back to racing speed. DRS re-enabled through the final corner on the power early on. It's a good exit. Can we have a go at my teammate? Overtake ERS engaged. You can see a little bit of a contrast in setups here, as I'm running a lot more aero than Ricciardo maybe. We are going to stay in front of Sorokin though, which is good news. We go late on the brakes into turn 2. Almost at the back of Ricciardo. It's all kicking off in front of us here. Oh, Ricciardo taking a bit of a compromised line, goes defensive slightly. I think he's starting to realise I'm starting to breathe down his neck quite heavily. I mean, I'm extremely close to him, I just can't get the run on the straight. Maybe into here though. Late on the brakes, attack the apex, on the power early on, there we go, that's a good exit. Burning up the rear tyres a bit, but he does just edge a little bit away from me, even in the same machinery as me, just because of the setup alone. So we can't really get the move done there, but they're still battling in front of us here. Lots of squabbles in front. We are going to go for the switchback. Get the power down, up the inside here. This is going to be the overtaking position of choice, I think. Up the inside of Danny Rick. We just close him off on the right hander there and get the job done. Leclerc goes defensive into the penultimate corner. Oh, it's close, very close. We do just slip on the inside. Going to go for the little squeeze on the exit. Do we have enough on the straight though to stay in front of that Sauber? I think we do. Yes, we do. He's dropped back a lot, and that's going to put Ricciardo on the back of him. So up into 8th place now in lap 6, making great progress here and a decent recovery drive. And there's more battles in front of us. So long may it continue. We're making really good progress here. We need to get past these Hypersoft runners as well, because they're going to be on the same strategy as us. Even though we will be on the Hypers at the end of the Grand Prix, These guys can still one stop. Hamilton goes defensive here. That's going to put him on the back foot, and we switch back underneath. Lewis might have a car problem because he was going abnormally slow and not your regular speed through that corner. However, now we are going to be DRS-less on this back straight. I'm going to have to rely on some overtake ERS. Ricciardo making the moves here in the other Red Bull. You can see him there just behind Lewis. And he's starting to make the moves with myself. And both of the bulls are coming alive here in this race. Let's try and catch up to Gasly here if we can. Okay, tyre temperatures seem under control at the moment. Left rear is getting a little bit hot. We've got to be careful. But the front left is the one that's getting the workout. As we go down to turn 1. Gasly gets past Carlos Sainz. So Sainz is going to be the one we're passing next. Ricciardo gets past Hamilton. So this is pretty decent for us. We now need to start watching these tyres a little bit to make sure we make this one-stop work. Here we go then. Through turn 1. DRS open. Ricciardo's lurking behind me. He's going for the overtake here, but we're committing to the move on Sainz. Into turn 2. Ricciardo up the inside of both of us. We hold it around the outside. Ricciardo, though, still going for it. Side by side. Both of the Red Bulls through turn 3 here. Look at this. We just squeeze him out and edge in front of my teammate. Great bit of sideways action there with Daniel Ricciardo, as always. And a good little bit of a scrap there. But we're now up into P6. And we're only 8 laps in, so we're making phenomenal progress here. Well, my tyres are getting a little bit hot here, so I'm not going to fight Ricciardo this time. I'm going to let him go. And I want to try and get his slipstream in DRS and try and follow him, basically. And try and take some pressure off me, trying to pull away from him. And let him do the pulling, basically. Cars in the pit lane. Ricciardo really getting the hammer down here. He's not messing around, but I think I will still just have DRS on my teammate. There we go. Up into P4 now, making decent progress. It's all about trying to keep the tyres under control. Right, everything's pretty much under control. We did jump up into second place on that lap and didn't realise. Cars in the pit lane, it seems, and we're now 1-2 in this race, myself and Daniel Ricciardo. Vettel now P3 on those hypersofts, which should be getting pretty second hand by now. That's also giving me an indication of how long those hypers can last, so we might be able to go onto those a little bit earlier than we might have originally planned. Okay, interesting.
Daniel's in the pits.
Ricciardo comes in. That's an interesting one. So I'll be curious to see what tyre he does go on, but I don't think I'm going to get a chance to see it. Onto softs maybe for Ricciardo? No, he goes into hypers. So Ricciardo might be two-stopping this race. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Both tyres on the left are starting to get a little bit hot. So I've got to be careful for that. And everyone behind me is starting to pick up the pace on the Ultras. Whether they go to the end or not, I'm not really sure. I might be one of the few people who might be trying to do this strategy of a one-stop with Ultras onto hypers. I'm not really sure, but either way, I'm going to commit to it because my pace isn't terrible. And I'm still running at a pretty okay consistency, basically. Right then, we've got Kimi Räikkönen for company here in the Ferrari. He's gaining. I'm going to go defensive. I want to try and cover the inside into turn 2 if I can, because I want to have track position. Give him the squeeze into turn 3. Yellow flag behind. Something's happened. Meanwhile, though, we hold on to first place, at least for now anyway. I'm definitely in the back foot now. Here comes Kimi. And also Perez not too far behind. We're going to go for the squeeze, but not much we can do about it. We're going to give Perez a little bit of a squeeze there, to be fair. A bit of both. We kind of turn into each other there. We got, I think that's a full senior on the straight. I think that might be Ocon, who's pulled up after all that time on that yellow flag. Maybe he's retired from the race. It looks like he's not going anywhere. Meanwhile, I'm starting to struggle on these tyres a little bit, but we're still going on here. I want to try and make it to lap 16, so essentially come in the next lap if possible. Well, this is going to be pretty one-sided. There goes Hulkenberg, and Ricciardo's already catching up to me. He's almost taking a pit stop out of me. Right then, into the pit lane, but we're going to do the little trick we learned last season, because obviously the pit lane entry is glitched, so we have to do it the other way around, which is go around the final corner and tackle it the long way, because you get a drive-through / stop-go penalty if you take it the normal way, and I'm on the brink of a penalty. If I get one more car extend, I'm going to get a penalty, so it makes sense just to not take that risk, basically. I don't know if it's been patched or not, but I'm not willing to take that risk. So anyway, here we go, out of the pit lane. I'm hoping to rejoin behind Vettel in P6. If that does work out, that'd be beautiful, but I think we're going to rejoin a little bit further back than that. And there's going to be just in the top 10 behind Fernando Alonso. So we've got some work to do. There goes Alonso in the McLaren. So we're going to rejoin in P9 on fresh hypersofts, which is good news. So we can go straight to work on these. And there you go, there's a penalty, see. Stupid corner cut. Too many of those this race, I deserve that. So yeah, We'll have a 3-second time penalty at the end of the Grand Prix. That's my fault for driving like an absolute idiot. Another track corner cut there. I'm just not used to the grip on this tyre. It's completely just taken me off by guard and by surprise. But yeah, we're going to have a 3-second time penalty at the end of the race for our trouble. So we need to get to work now, make these moves. First up, Fernando Alonso in the McLaren. Here we go. Hot lap into overtake ERS, and Rich Mix engaged. We're going to get to the inside line to get past him early on. And that's the move done for P8. First time of arsing. There we go. Now up next, Carlos Sainz. Okay, we've caught up to Stroll and Sainz here. Let's try and set up a move on these guys. Stroll's going to be fast on this pit straight, because he's going to have DRS on the Renault, and that Williams we now fast is on straight. So I'm just going to try and pick up the toe basically. Personal best 31.4, 1.5 up on my previous best. Rich Mix and overtake ERS engaged along with some DRS, and we're flying on the straight, but it's not really enough. But we are going to go up the inside on the brakes. Not enough to get alongside, but we do get it done on the brakes and the fresh tyres. And we are up into 7th place. Up next, Carlos Sainz for P6. So close to Carlos here. Literally is pushing him through the corners. I'm not even going to maybe use Rich Mix or Hot Lap. I can get this one done with just the DRS button itself. Here we go. In the toe of the Renault. Gaining. We're going to pull to the right hand side. Up the inside on the brakes. Job done as Ricciardo comes in for a second time this race in the other Red Bull. Have we done enough to stay ahead of my teammate? Let's find out. He is going to have much fresher hypersofts than me though, which is going to be a
Daniel's
concern.
in for his stop.
Up next though is Sebastian Vettel. I'm not sure what strategy he's on. I'm guessing a one-stopper. So we need to really catch him up if possible. Through the final corner, Ricciardo's making his way towards the pit exit, but it's not going to be enough. We're going to remain ahead of Ricciardo, which is good news. And it looks like Ricciardo's actually going to have to maybe do some overtaking, get past Sainz, and maybe even Lance Stroll. No, it looks like he's in between the two of them, so that's good news to me. Let's try and pull away from Ricciardo while we've got the chance. Another personal best there. Trying to pick up the pace, but Ricciardo is super quick. Like, ridiculously quick. I don't think I'm going to be able to stay in front of him, unfortunately. On a two-stopper, he's just had too much pace, and I think it's going to be a challenge to stay in front. However, we are both catching Sebastian Vettel, so if I can get ahead of Sebastian, finish ahead of him in that race, I wouldn't mind finishing behind Ricciardo. It doesn't bother me. So, at worst ways, I might let Ricciardo go and try and pursue Vettel and try and get past him. Right then, I'm going to let Ricciardo go. Gap is 2.5 to Sebastian. We are catching him, so I'm going to try and let Ricciardo do his thing, get the relay, and we're going to try and close him down together, basically, and work as a team. My left front is getting hot already here, so it's not ideal, and I can take some pressure off, hopefully by just using Ricciardo's slipstream for a little bit. Ricciardo fastest lap 29.9, only man in the 129s this race. He's in hot pursuit of Sebastian. Now, that realistically, it's going to be hard to beat Sebastian because of the 3-second penalty, so to be fair, 6th place might be where we finish this race. At this point, I'm just basically cruising. I'm trying to keep the tyres under control when it comes to temperature, and I'm looking to just secure that 3-second gap. So we're doing a good job of it so far. Right then, last lap, final sector. I've managed it all beautifully. Tyres are nicely under control. And this one was about just accepting the fact I wasn't going to beat Sebastian here today. So through the final couple of corners, and Sergio Perez has won the Russian Grand Prix. And unfortunately, we're going to lose a couple of points to Vettel in the championship. Not many though. Perez is going to be the one that gains the big points. Wow. Not again. Not again. And Ricciardo retired across the line. What? I'm so confused. How have I done that? How have I... Oh my god. I got myself another penalty. I can't believe it. I'm still shocked. I'm even more shocked because Ricciardo actually retired over the line. And his retirement registered, I think, at the final corner. Therefore, Vettel, Sainz and Stroll have all benefited from his retirement, which is incredible. So Ricciardo drops to 7th with a DNF. We finish 8th with a 6-second penalty, and we are just ahead of Hamilton and Alonso. Perez wins ahead of Raikkonen and Hulkenberg, and Vettel in the end is actually going to gain a couple of free points, which is annoying. But in terms of the standings, we remain in 3rd place. Ricciardo still scores some points, so he jumps up into 4th place and overtakes Gasly, even with a DNF over the line. Vettel's lead, though, now down to 9 points. And Perez is putting the pressure on. Now, I have to be realistic here. we're still a long way away from where we need to be. We did well at Spa, Monza, Singapore. We pulled a miracle out of the bag. Here today could have been P4, you know, P5, P4 even, if we really played it right. In the end, we got P8, so we lost a lot of points. But even then, I don't feel like we got the car to really challenge for the championship this year. You know, last year at Toro Rosso, I knew I could do the job. This year, I'm not so sure, and it's starting to show. In terms of the constructors, though, we remain in third place. That's still all to play for. 48 points up for grabs. Myself and Ricardo threw away some points today, which is really, really annoying. And obviously, Vettel and Raikkonen and the Ferrari are 21 points ahead of Perez and Ocon in the Force India. All in all, that was Russia. A very strange race in many ways, but we now move into the next one in Japan, which I'm absolutely looking forward to. But before then, we have to jump into the laptop. So let's get into it.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash? Well, thanks anyway.
Right, so it's contract negotiation time now. First of all, we have to say we failed the goal of qualifying second or better, which is pretty ridiculous. I was never going to really hit that. Also, the starter now really starting to lean towards sportsmanship other than showmanship, and we are now completely a veteran in the sport. Now, let's negotiate a contract and let's see what we can do here. Right, contract offer number 1. I've gone pretty ballsy. 8th in qualifying, 5th in the race, first driver, hard goal, and then level 3 on race bonus and upgrade speed. Level 2 on simultaneous development and no pit stop efficiency. Let's see what they say.
They aren't coming round to that proposal. Let's try something else.
Right, so we'll just quickly knock the upgrade speed down to level 2. I'm going to try and put pit stop efficiency onto maybe 1. Let's see what they say here.
All right, the terms have been agreed. All that's left is to sign the paperwork. You'll be on this new deal from the next race weekend.
Alright, there we go. Pretty decent new contract. Now, let's look at the R&D tree, because for the next race, we have an ultimate engine upgrade arriving for Japan, which is going to really help us out. Now, let's have a little look here and see what we can do, because I'm curious to see what we can perform. Obviously, like I said, powertrain, we're going to become the best engine, so there's no real need to push. We're already the best in, actually no, we're second best in the area. We've been overtaken by Ferrari, so that's interesting. In terms of the chassis, we are third best. We've slipped away a little bit, so I think it's about time we got some chassis upgrades in the car. Now I'm just looking at the options here, and they're all pretty big upgrades, you know, so it's going to take a while. They're all ultimate, so these are going to take quite a while to get in the car. Now, I think I'm just going to go for weight reduction, to be honest with you. It's the best one. However, we don't have enough points, so we either save those up or... No, I can't even afford an aero on either, so I think we're just going to wait, to be honest. I think DRS, there's possible performance there. Do I go for it? It's a minor one. You know what? Screw it, why not? It's only a minor, so I still have some points to put away. But yeah, for the next race, we'll have 2 upgrades in the car, which will really push us forward in terms of our development, and hopefully we will become the best team on the grid. And once again, find more performance in the car. But if you guys did enjoy this episode of Career Mode, then please do drop a like on the video. Also, do get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content. Also, turn notifications so don't miss a single video from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and see you on my next one very soon. Goodbye.